Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and I'm on a mission to spread peace, love, and positivity through music. Today, I'll be reacting to soundtracks from The War of the Worlds. I believe this is from the actual movie War of the Worlds, which I remember watching as a kid and not really understanding what was going on or why they were able to defeat the aliens, and then I more recently watched it, and by recently I mean in the last I think 3-4 years, and then I understood. But a thought that never occurred to me was what was the actual soundtrack of this movie. So today we're going to be exploring that. We're going to be checking out two of the tracks. The first will be The Eve of the War, and the second is called Forever Autumn. I'm excited to check these out, and that is all thanks to Claire the Peaceful for making this donation request and these selections today. And Claire dedicates this to her mother and father on what would have been their 49th anniversary. Now, let's just jump in.
No one would have believed in the last years of the 19th century.
Also, recently there was a the War of the Worlds movie, I guess remake that came out with, is his name Ice Cube? I haven't watched it. I've seen so many terrible clips about that movie. How dare they ruin a movie like that with something just that abysmal?
No one would have believed in the last years of the 19th century that human affairs were being watched from the timeless worlds of space. No one could have dreamed we were being scrutinized as someone with a microscope studies creatures that swarm and multiply in a drop of water. Few men even considered the possibility of life on other planets. And yet, across the gulf of space, minds immeasurably superior to ours regarded this Earth with envious eyes. And slowly and surely, they drew their plans against us.
I'm only envisioning right now aliens descending from above. Oh. And I know this is the album opener, this song. Yeah, super bright rhythm. They stole the words right from me. I like this melody a lot. The strings now, electric guitar now. It has all the components that I like. Also, if you want to find the original, it's in the description. Oh. Wow. You can hear the elements in this song, in this composition rather, that make this all sound extremely sci-fi. It's almost like these like bright organ sounds, the synth sounds you're hearing as well. They are like the UFOs descending from above. And I never actually read the book War of the Worlds, but I saw the movie. Is that what it's called? War of the Worlds, the original movie. Regardless, I'm thinking of the movie where like basically human STDs were their inevitable demise, which is very interesting. Um, yeah, when I think of that movie, I pick up on less of that like green alien man feel and more of like a monster movie feel. So this to me is more indicative of the green alien man feel. But yeah, it's nice so far. That's so catchy. Oh, okay. Loving the electric guitar attention we're getting. Beautiful slides. Eerie tones pulse. Acoustic now. I'm surprised to see acoustic in this. Oh wow.
At midnight on the 12th of August, a huge mass of luminous gas erupted from Mars and sped towards Earth. Across 200 million miles of void, invisibly hurtling towards us, came the first...
This sort of reminds me of the narrator from The Twilight Zone, if you ever watched some episodes of that.
...of the missiles that were to bring so much calamity to Earth. As I watched, there was another jet of gas. It was another missile, starting on its way. Flare spurting out from Mars, bright green, drawing a green mist behind it. A beautiful, but somehow disturbing sight. Ogilvy, the astronomer, assured me we were in no danger. He was convinced there could be no living thing on that remote, forbidding planet.
So this is Justin Hayward.
First missile approached Earth. It was thought to be an ordinary...
I love this melodic motif that we're repeatedly hearing from the strings. This da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. It's been happening throughout this entire arrangement, which I just love the repetition, but it's also paired with those alien sounds. So it creates this very identifiable character to the song.
Then came the night the first missile approached Earth. It was thought to be an ordinary falling star, but next day there was a huge crater in the middle of the comet, and Ogilvy came to examine what lay there. A cylinder, 30 yards across, glowing hot, with faint sounds of movement coming from within. Suddenly the top began moving, rotating, unscrewing, and Ogilvy feared there was a man inside trying to escape. He rushed to the cylinder, but the intense heat stopped him before he could burn himself on the metal.
The chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, he said. The chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, but still they come. Yes, the chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, he said. The chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, but still they come.
Bum, bum, bum. Epic crescendo. Yeah. It's a great way to start off your concept album for a book about alien invasion of Earth, because it's hard to even conceptualize in my mind how one might read a book and then think of the music for it, because often I just kind of start in a place of mental ideation as it relates to composing my own music, and I am not an excellent composer by any means. I would love to become a musician one day and do more songwriting, but in the position that I'm in right now, I don't spend as much time as I should to do that. So when I think of like when I create, I don't often read these days, which is, I think just an artifact of the times, but I'll still take accountability for not reading as much. Regardless, it is a very hard practice to read something and envision the songs for it. That's why it's always impressive to me for the movie composers that are out there to create songs, even for the visuals that they see. It is very doable, but somehow it requires a different creative edge that at this moment I don't have. So you get to re-envision the feeling, the musical feeling from the written text into the actual musical composition. That to me is just a very cool sort of process that happens. And in the way that we heard it produced here, it is very alien-esque, very Green Man, UFO coming down to Earth-esque. Even in the depictions of the green smoke, the green like luminous gas that they refer to coming towards Earth. It is all extremely eerie, but also like piques one's curiosity, because there's a reason like humans have this like, I guess you could call it morbid fascination, but also this like fascination of the unknown, and aliens, they present that unknown. And even if with more certainty we know that these aliens may not be reliable or safe actors, a part of your brain is still like, but wouldn't it be cool to see them or meet them? And this song to me, it like taps on that idea of we just don't know what to expect. It's a bright future. There is something, well, bright in the sense that there is a lot of novelty and things happening, but it's eerie. We don't exactly know what's in store. It's kind of where I land on that. But melodically, I love what we hear from the strings. I love the incorporation of electric guitar. I mean, super solid of a composition. And it's a little bit hard for me to comment on the way composers operate and orchestrate so many moving parts. So as a listener, at the very least, I am very satisfied. Let's check out the next song here. This is Forever Autumn. Oh, and he's shooting his laser.
For 3 days I fought my way along roads packed with refugees, the homeless, burdened with boxes and bundles containing their valuables. All that was of value to me was in London. But by the time I reached their little red brick house, Carrie and her father were gone.
That's not good. Oh, the strings and the flute layers, and one by one the layers are being added and getting
The
louder.
summer sun is fading as the year grows old,
Folk?
and darker days are drawing near.
After the first song, this is
The
amazing.
winter winds
What a
will
surprise.
be much colder. Now you're not here. I watch the birds fly
Oh.
south across the autumn sky.
Wait, this is so beautiful.
And one by one they disappear. I wish that I was flying with them. Now you're not here. Like the sun through the trees, you came to love me. Like a leaf on a breeze, you blew away.
You know, it uniquely almost reminds me of something you may hear in like a Blackmore's Night tune. It's very bright, very folk, but then it pulls right back. And the use of strings is very expert in all of this, by the way. Listen to the layers being added.
Autumn's golden gown we used to kick our way. You always love this time of year. Those fallen leaves lie undisturbed now, 'cause you're not here. 'Cause you're not here. 'Cause you're not here.
Oh, dude, I really love this.
Fire.
It sort of reminds me a bit of like, this is going to be very random, but I'm just going to put all of these thoughts out there. Reminds me a bit of what you may hear in Electric Light Orchestra. Also reminds me a bit of what you might hear if you listen to Axel Rudi Pell, but instead of being like, you know, metal and like super guitar heavy, they switched into the world of like Baroque and folk. It is such a bright feeling. I'm really digging the vibe.
Fire suddenly leapt from house to house. The population panicked and ran, and I was swept along with them, aimless and lost without Carrie. Finally, I headed eastward for the ocean and my only hope of survival, a boat out of England.
Like the sun through the trees, you came to love me. Like a leaf on a breeze, you blew away.
The layers that just get added here, it's worth noting again and again. It's so cool.
A gentle rain falls softly on my weary eyes, as if to hide a lonely tear. My life will be forever autumn, 'cause you're not here. 'Cause you're not here. 'Cause you're not
As I hastened through Covent Garden, Blackfriars and Billingsgate, more and more people joined the painful exodus. Sad, weary women, their children stumbling and streaked with tears, their men bitter and angry, the rich rubbing shoulders with beggars and outcasts. Dogs snarled and whined, the horses' bits were covered with foam, and here and there were wounded soldiers, as helpless as the rest. We saw tripods wading up the Thames, cutting through bridges as though they were paper. Waterloo Bridge, Westminster Bridge. One appeared above Big Ben.
I don't know what that was. But it's all good. It's all coochie, baby. I'm liking it all.
Never before in the history of the world had such a mass of human beings moved and suffered together. This was no disciplined march. It was a stampede, without order and without a...
Are we getting that same motif from earlier? The da-da-da, 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 that we heard in the first? Dude, if they're doing that repeatedly throughout the entire album, I think that is so smart because it creates such a memorable experience melodically for the entire album. And I've always found this like a really, I guess, weird thing that artists do, which is not reference their own music or melodies. Like imagine you create a 10-song album and all 10 songs have to be unique melodies with unique styles, different. But sometimes I can see a world, and I think some artists do this nowadays, but not as much as you would maybe expect. Sometimes it may make sense to re-reference a melody that you heard maybe in the first or second track of the album later on, because it creates that through line melodically. The songs are part of an album together. Why? Do they have to be completely disconnected in this compendium? Does that even make sense? I don't necessarily think so. I think threading things together, it's a very cool way to give the whole album a feeling and meaning here.
This was no disciplined march.
Not just
it was a
individual
stampede,
songs.
without order and without a goal. 6 million people unarmed and unprovisioned, driving headlong. It was the beginning of the rout of civilization, of the massacre of mankind.
I have no idea what this sound is. Maybe like a big foghorn or something. But it's not that bassy. Oh, this is new.
A vast crowd buffeted me towards the already packed steamer. I looked up enviously at those safely on board, straight into the eyes of my beloved Carrie. At sight of me, she began to fight her way along the packed deck to the gangplank. At that very moment, it was raised, and I caught a last glimpse of her despairing face as the crowd swept me away from her.
Like the sun through the trees, you came to love me. Like a leaf on a breeze, you blew away.
Bring it all the way back to the folk. That is so smart.
Autumn's golden gown, we used to kick our way.
That is so
You
smart.
always love this time of year. Those fallen leaves lie undisturbed now, 'cause you're not here. 'Cause you're not here. 'Cause you're not here.
Oh, with the abrupt ending there. Oh, wow. I was not expecting this at all today. Because when I saw War of the Worlds, I was thinking, like, what is this request really going to sound like? What are these songs? I've never heard of Jeff Wayne or Richard Burton or Justin Hayward. These are just things that are unfamiliar to me, and I'm very happy to have gotten this request because I love beautiful strings and compositions, especially if I can pair them with like at least mental visuals, and especially if those visuals relate to like sci-fi. For me, some of my favorite genres in film, well, I guess I'll list them: horror, drama, sci-fi. Those three for me, I think they probably encompass 80% of all of the movies I've ever watched. And I do my best to have this like list on my phone where I keep track of every single movie I've ever watched. I hope it's comprehensive, but on occasion I'll be reminded of a movie that I know isn't on the list and then I'll add it afterwards. But yeah, I love sci-fi. This is really inspiring me to go rewatch War of the Worlds. It's been many days, many moons since I've seen it, but listening to this soundtrack, the first song in particular definitely gave me Alien vibes. This second one, if it wasn't for the narration, I would almost put into the category of like prog rock, art rock kind of vibe, a little bit baroque, a little bit folk rocky as well. We're drawing from many different genres, and that becomes the fun but also complicated thing about a lot of progressive music, is that you're drawing from so many different styles, selecting different instruments, incorporating spoken word in the way that they did in this track. And the first one, it just creates a very dynamic listening experience, and certainly different than what we typically hear being released like in your top 100 charts on Spotify, for example. But let me know what you guys think about these tracks in the comments below. I would definitely be down to check out more from this concept album. So if you are curious and want to hear my reactions to that, you can make a request using the first link down below. But in any case, my friends, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.